Hi, I'm Cindy Beyea, a partner on Eversheds Sutherland's asset management team.
And I'm Ron Coenen, counsel on Eversheds Sutherland's asset management team.
As we begin a new year, we wanted to highlight a few items of regulatory importance for investment companies. First, we'd like to begin with a couple of compliance dates coming up in 2020. In connection with the ETF rule, which was adopted in 2019, and which will allow ETFs to come to market without obtaining individual exemptive orders. The SEC has decided to rescind those individual exemptive orders pursuant to which funds currently operate. So those ETFs will need to work towards compliance with the new rule instead of their individual exemptive relief prior to the rescission date, which is December 23rd, 2020.
Another important compliance deadline in 2020 relates to Form N-Port. Form N-Port is the SEC's new form that investment companies use to report portfolio holdings information. For larger funds, they began filing Form N-Ports in 2019. However, for smaller funds, they must begin filing Form N-Ports no later than June 1, 2020.
Now looking to anticipated final rulemakings that we expect based on rules that have been previously proposed. First, the fund of funds rule. We expect to see that in early 2020. It will allow investment companies to invest in other investment companies in excess of the current statutory restrictions. And much like we see in the ETF space, this is designed to have a new one rule replace individual exemptive orders. And again, like in the ETF space, we would expect a rescission of those individual exemptive orders after a period of compliance with the new rule once adopted.
Another rule proposed in 2018 was the Variable Insurance Product Summary Prospectus rule. This rule would modernize the disclosure framework for variable insurance products. This rule has some novel features, including the ability of insurance companies to use different forms of summary prospectuses for new and existing customers. We expect this rule to be finalized in spring 2020.
Another item we expect in spring of 2020 and of importance to closed-end funds and BDCs is the offering reform. Those rules were proposed in March of 2019 due to a congressional mandate. They will allow closed-end funds and BDCs to take advantage of streamlined registration, prospectus delivery, and investor communications, much like operating companies have been able to do for a number of years.
Sticking to rules proposed in 2019, in October 2019, the SEC proposed amended exemptive application procedures under the Investment Company Act. Under these amended procedures, applications that are substantially identical to recent precedent would qualify for expedited review. In addition, applications that do not qualify for expedited review would benefit from a shortened review period. We expect this rule to be finalized soon.
One item that we expect to see much later in 2020, or even potentially in 2021, is a final derivatives rule. In late 2019, the SEC actually reproposed the derivatives rule, which had initially been proposed in 2015. As of the date of recording of this video, the comment period was still open, and we do expect to see a significant number of comments come in on that. If adopted as proposed, it will create a new compliance and risk management regime for those investment companies that invest in derivative instruments.
Having discussed rules that we expect to be finalized in 2020, let's finish up by discussing a rule that we expect to be proposed in 2020. In recent years, the SEC has been exploring the ability of investment companies to prepare and deliver summary shareholder reports in lieu of the longer shareholder reports that are currently delivered to investors. Based on the SEC's regulatory agenda, we expect a summary shareholder report rule to be proposed in late 2020.
We hope that gives you a brief overview of what to expect in the coming year. Thank you for joining us. For more information on anything we've discussed, on asset management generally, and for other bottom line videos, please visit eversheds-sutherland.com.